Today, let's talk about the pill that we should never swallow. That is easier said than done because, like many pills, the manufacturers of this pill have designed it with a sugary sweet outer layer, one that is very slippery when wet, and once on the tongue it goes down very easily. I am referring, of course, to discrimination. It seems like every month we discover a new way to discriminate against each other. Like oxygen, it permeates our societies and seems to fuel our discourse and actions. Of course, the more we examine it, the more we discover its true competency: to divide, to destroy, and to dismantle whatever good we originally set about to do. Discrimination kills like a cancer, but it spreads like the flu from person to person, consuming whole communities. Understanding this problem is as old as society. We should stop more often to consider the common denominators underpinning discrimination. While reflecting on the terrible effects of racism, sexism, and ageism within our societies, is it possible that the same or similar common factors also drive xenophobia, socioeconomic, and language discrimination? None of us have a crystal ball, but I propose to you that the fractures in our society that allow discrimination to not only survive but to thrive are relatively few, but so easily exploitable. Underlying ideologies like moralism and classism, when propagated through society, prompts the creation of stereotypes, which in turn creates unnecessary worry, anxiety, and fear between groups who would otherwise associate amicably. When negative stereotypes, however arbitrary or unfounded, take hold, they inevitably serve only to dehumanize and denigrate a cohort in our society, often already marginalized in some way. When this occurs consistently and unabated, it metastasizes as more of our society becomes passive in their care for the other. More and more of us look the other way as atrocities are committed against our neighbors until we ourselves become convinced, hardened, and disengaged from the suffering of our fellow citizens. We the people have swallowed this pill. We the people have rejected community and embraced division even at our own demise. Now, history has taught us that while some groups possessing economic, political, or moral power and authority have been good stewards, for centuries many have sought to sow disunity among the majority. But why would the wealthy, powerful, and influential members of our own communities devise contemptuous strategies to segregate us, to legislate disunity and arbitrary distrust? Why might the powerful expend their energies and resources to sow disinformation and lies? One reason: exploitation. You see, to the economically, politically, and morally powerful of history, we the people in many instances have been merely a means to achieve their ends. The truth is that for millennia, empires and fortunes have been built on the backs of the people. And while history has given us leaders who have exemplified servant leadership, it is also filled with leaders who have been far less virtuous in their pursuit of power, wealth, control, and dominance. History beckons us to open our eyes to the powerful who loom in the shadows, who in 1705 penned legislation in Virginia that would not only strip the dignity and humanity from an entire people's, but declared them real estate to be bought and sold at will. Or consider the powerful in India, who in 1871 enacted laws which declared some citizens criminals from birth and arbitrarily relegated others to a life of shame and despair. As recent as 1994, the world stood by as militia, organized, equipped, and armed by private interests, committed murderous genocide on their own countrymen, women, and children. We the people must now refuse to be homologized as exploitable resources who stand at the ready, distracted, divided, and as indentured servants of the wealthy and powerful. Should we revolt? Yes. We need to revolt against the very successful strategies that have splintered our societies for centuries. We need to revolt against the idea that we're better apart or that we're better than our brother or sister. We need to turn the temperature down on our social media and invite civility back into our public discourse. We need to relearn how to occupy the same room as those with whom we disagree. We need to be reminded of the strength in our uniqueness and the power in harnessing different perspectives to build towards a common goal. And we need to reject the use of fear as a tactic to divide and dislocate. We the people must throw off apathy and passivity regarding the plight of our neighbors, friends, and fellow citizens. If we laugh together, we should stand together. cry together, and bleed together as we reclaim and resurrect our collective sense of humanity. We the people must hold those in power accountable by auditing their actions at the poll, inspecting their legislation with a fine-tooth comb, and rejecting any and all attempts to sow disinformation. We must refuse segregation in all forms as we embrace diversity as our new norm. We the people demand a new standard for leadership, one in which exploitation is replaced with protection for all, one in which reconciliation is not a catchphrase but a central imperative, and one in which we ensure that our leaders serve us and not the other way around. Today, let's talk about the pill we should never swallow.